Alrighty, so welcome back to my Let's Play of Haven Call of the King. Here we are in the village, the first village of the game, and that's probably not the best way to phrase it, because me saying first village of the game makes it seem like there is a bunch of hub villages that you sort of travel between, which isn't exactly the case. It's more along the lines of, well, the game presents itself, if you look at it right now, it presents itself almost like a Jak and Daxter kind of video game. Like, you've got this one largish overworld, and there are little levels in between that you can go to at will. But no, it's not like that. It's incredibly linear, and you spend your time going from one level to another. So it's a little misleading from preliminary glances. Now, as you can hear, there is some music occurring. It's pretty nice music. And you can also see that Haven uses the yo-yo of death to beat the crap out of public servants. He just loves causing up civil disobedience. I mean, what can I say? Just running around fucking yo-yoing every freaking public servant he can find. I mean, it's not like they do a service for anybody. Now, I get within context, they're actually doing bad things. I mean, they're hassling people and all sorts of stuff, but, I mean, it's a little uncalled for to just go yo-yoing people. I mean, imagine if, like, you're just driving along and you see a cop perched by the side of the road, and then you're like, no, not today. I'm not putting up with cops today. Like, I don't even care if they're not bothering me. I'm just not putting up with that. So you park your car, you pull over to the side of the road, you put your car in park, you get out, you lock all your doors, and then you're like, what is the best way to approach this police officer in a properly violent manner? And then you think, yo-yo. So you grab a fucking yo-yo, you walk up to the window, you knock on it a few times, and he's eating a donut or whatever, and he's like, oh, God, you're smoking. So he rolls down the window, he's like, is there anything I can help you with? And you say, yeah, take this! And then you throw the fucking yo-yo at his face. He'll never see it coming. Actually, that might be hilarious to try out. I'm not actually suggesting that. But, I mean, if somebody did happen to do it. You can also see from this that aiming the yo-yo is particularly difficult. I imagine that must be pretty true to real life too, because, I mean, if you're flinging a yo-yo at somebody from a distance of, like, a yard, I can imagine you're not gonna have the best aim in the world. Haven's a bit of a pothead, and I mean that in the literal sense. He puts his head inside pots. Yeah. Well, that's your joke for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. So, looking at this game, you might be wondering what exactly it plays like. And I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, I guess it's a platformer at its core, yes, but at the same time, it can't decide if it's like an action platformer. Sometimes it feels like an RPG. It paints itself like it's a collectathon sort of thing, but it's really not. I mean, you can collect these like cogs or whatever, but it tries to make sense, and it doesn't necessarily accomplish that. It does pull off some pretty cool things. I mean, like, this is kind of like, hey, this is happening. Okay, I can live with that. But then it does other things that you'll see much later on. Like, here we go, cog. Pick up a cog. What am I gonna do with it? I don't even know. I mean I do, because I played the game. But at the same time, so how did I come by this game? It's not rare. In case that's what you're thinking, it's not rare at all. In fact, you can probably find like 2 or 3 copies in your local GameStop, Play and Trade, wherever you go to procure your video games. You can find it just about anywhere. But it sold crap when it came out because it was hyped up like nobody's business. So if they had this big marketing campaign for it, then why did it fall flat? Well, you see, they were trying to make this image like this game was doing things that no game had ever done before. They were selling this concept that this game has, you know, hundreds of different playstyles, which you will come to see it does. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're all for the better. That doesn't necessarily mean they're all for the worse either. But trust me when I say they could have stuck to 1 or 2 simple ideas and it might have worked out for them just a teensy-weensy bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil a little bit of the surprise for you. They tried to make this game not only an action platformer, they tried to make it a first-person, third-person shooter. They tried to give it racing segments and just other random vehicular segments. There are jetpacks and skateboards and sliding and blah 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 blah. And it ain't purty sometimes. It just ain't purty. But you see, I didn't have that prior knowledge of, you know, oh my god, this game might suck total balls when I was first, you know, thinking about it. You see, I went through this huge collector's phase a few months ago when all I really wanted was to just buy up a bunch of last generation games, like for PS2, GameCube, stuff like that. Just get a whole bunch of them and just to have them around. And that worked out for some games. It worked out well. Other games, not so well. Many of them have just been sitting on my shelf for a long time. I'm sure a lot of you know the feeling. Like, I mean, when the hell am I actually gonna get around to playing Metropolis Mania and Metropolis Mania 2? I'm sure for the 20 guys who have played both of those games that they're probably like, hey man, you should play Metropolis Mania. You won't regret it, dude. And to that, I'm like, alright, cool. Metropolis Mania, yeah. But I mean, when I have other things waiting for me, then it's like, ooh, yeah, maybe later. Anyway, getting off track again. I was picking which games I thought I would want most by looking at... I actually just went to the Wikipedia page that listed every single PlayStation 2 game that had been released, at least in North America, and I was just going through, looking for the titles that sounded interesting. And I would go to them, and if I would check the reception tab on the Wikipedia entry, and if it said it got anywhere from mediocre to good reviews, then I would put it on a list of games that I would consider buying. And I felt like I had really struck gold when I found this game sitting on a shelf in Play and Trade. I was like, holy balls, and it was only like $3, so I thought I had just, you know, won the fucking Pulitzer Prize. I don't know why I chose the Pulitzer when there are a bunch of other prizes I could have chosen. I mean, I guess that's just really prestigious. So, I felt like I had won a really prestigious prize, is basically what I'm trying to say. But, that wasn't necessarily the case. So now I own this, and again, I don't think it's a bad game. I mean, it's got great music, and I mean, the visuals are pretty decent, even if they're a tad derivative. It's just, it's a little hard to brush past the combat. I will give it points because, you know, it was doing like the whole cinematic like adventure game before a lot of them were doing it. Like, I compare this to Uncharted sometimes. Now maybe that's unfair to Uncharted for me to compare a game this just slightly above mediocre. I mean, Uncharted is great and this is just slightly above mediocre, so maybe it's an unfair comparison. But either way, I still think they have similarities. But yeah, there's not much to say about the gameplay. It's a video game. Wow, that could have not come out any worse. I'm gonna backtrack for a second and comment on the gameplay in an actually productive sense. You're definitely not gonna see me go for 100% in this Let's Play, because this was actually a blind playthrough. So I didn't know much about the whole, like, take the keys to the pots that ask for keys. It seems pretty apparent to me now that that's what I had to do, but at the moment, yeah, I wasn't so smart. I wasn't thinking too clearly. But, that just about wraps up this episode. I never feel like I'm saying anything really constructive. Or maybe not constructive is the word, but I don't feel like I'm ever really adding anything thought-provoking, but you know what? Whatever. That's the end of this episode. Check out next time to see what happens on this crazy elevator ride through hell. 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 See you later, everybody. Meow.